Magic the Gathering is a game that features a vast and continuous multiverse of stories set across countless planes and that incorporates numerous themes. One of those themes is horror. With the beginning of October, so begins our countdown to Halloween. 30 days, 30 decks, 30 different creatures of the night, all culminating with a special 31st episode on Halloween Day itself. For those of you with a profound fascination of the macabre, I invite you to join me on this venture through 30 days of night. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm MTG Budgebrew, and welcome to day 29 of our 30 days of night. Today we're playing with a creature that is very commonly feared, and the only thing scarier than seeing one is losing sight of one. Today, we're running spiders. The four rares that we're running for today's deck are two different spider lords. First, we have Blex, Vexing Pest. It is 2 and a green for a 3/2 pest that says other pests, bats, insects, snakes, and spiders you control get +1. When Blex dies, you gain 4 life. Then on the backside, we have Search for Blex. It is 2 and 2 black for a sorcery that says look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put any number of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. You lose 3 life for each card you put into your hand this way. The other lord that we are running is Ishkanah, Broodmother. It is 3 and a green for a 3/5 spider with reach that says other spiders you control get +1/+2. It also has an ability that says pay 2 mana, exile 2 cards from your graveyard, draft a card from Ishkanah, Broodmother's spellbook. And the spellbook is 15 spider related cards, as you can imagine. And we are running 2 copies each of both of our lords as our 4 rares for today's deck. Next, we have the card that I really built the deck around, Spider Spawning. It is 4 and a green for a sorcery that says create a 1/2 green spider creature token with reach for each creature card in your graveyard, flashback for 6 and a black. During my testing matches, I've gotten like 10 spider tokens off of a spider spawning, and that is not a small amount of tokens to gain. Even in the games where I've gotten like 6 or 7, it's a pretty solid board state, especially if you have a lord to follow it up with. And the fact that it has flashback, meaning you can cast this a second time, is really, really nice. The other spiders that we're running in today's deck are 4 copies of Broodspinner, 4 copies of Nyx Weaver, and 4 copies of Skyfisher Spider, which is our only removal in the deck. When this creature enters, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, destroy target non-land permanent. So since we are building around spider spawning, I figured the best way to build around it would be self-mill with a ton of creatures. So the other creatures that we are running in the deck are 4 copies of Shambling Ghast, 4 copies of Supplier, and 4 copies of Undead Butler. The only other non-creature cards that we're running in the deck, aside from spider spawning, are 4 copies of Deadly Dispute. This seems worth the addition because it'll be able to help us ramp into the flashback cost of spider spawning, which is 7 mana. It's pretty pricey. And in theory, we should be making a lot of tokens, which means sacrificing 1 to the Deadly Dispute to get to draw 2 cards should be pretty beneficial for us. For our mana base, we are running 10 swamps, 10 forests, and 4 copies of Jungle Hollow. With that said, let's go hop into some matches and see what this deck can do. All right, here we are in game number 1. We do not have access to both colors of mana, so I think I'm going to mulligan. And this opening hand looks much better. I'll keep 6, throw back a Broodspinner. Turn 1, I think we're just going to start with a Shambling Ghast and then pass. For turn 2, I think I'm going to go with Broodspinner. It is a black and a green for a 2/3 spider with reach that says when this creature enters, surveil 2. Then you can pay 4 black and a green, tap sack this creature, create a number of 1/1 black and green insect creature tokens with flying equal to the number of card types among cards in your graveyard. With our surveil, I'm going to put a force in the graveyard, and I think I will leave a Jungle Hollow on top. Go to combat, swing in for 1, set our opponent to 20. Yeah, Broodspinner is a pretty cool card. Being able to make flying insects is kind of nice, but what's really cool about it is the fact that it synergizes with Blex, Vexing Pest, because this says other insects you control get +1/+1. So those flyers, instead of being 1/1s, could be 2/2s, assuming we have Blex out as well. We're going to go to combat here. We're going to swing in for 3, set our opponent to 17, and then I'm going to play out a Supplier. Our opponent hasn't done anything yet, so I'm kind of expecting a board wipe to come out soon. This turn, they're going to have 4 mana. Oh my, our opponent just played Risen Reef. This card is really terrifying. And because Risen Reef is really terrifying, we are going to kill it with Skyfisher Spider. Skyfisher is a 4 mana 3/3 spider with reach that says when this creature enters, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, destroy target non-land permanent. When this creature dies, you may gain 1 life for each creature card in your graveyard. If you do, exile this card from your graveyard. So I'm going to sacrifice our Supplier, and that will allow us to destroy his Risen Reef. And then when Supplier dies, we mill 3 more cards. We can go to combat, swing in for 3 more damage, set our opponent down to 14. Opponent's going to play out a Bristly Bill. also a concerning creature. And then a Cloudkin Seer. This one might seem like a weird pick, but this is an elemental wizard, which means it does synergize with Risen Reef. When I've built my Risen Reef decks, I do normally include the Cloudkin Seer as well. From here, I think we're going to start by going to combat. We'll see what he uses to block. All right, he only blocked the Broodspinner using his Bristly Bill. He took 4, went down to 10. So from here, I think I'm just going to play out the Broodspinner and try to surveil a land to the top of our deck. Ooh, Deadly Dispute might even be better. Yeah, let's move that on top, and I will leave a forest underneath the Deadly Dispute, and then I will end the turn. I don't want to play out this Nyx Weaver, because this says, at the beginning of your upkeep, mill 2 cards, and we just put 2 cards on top that we want to keep, so let's not mill them. You know, seems pretty good. But Nyx Weaver is a 3-mana, 2/3 with reach. It says, at the beginning of your upkeep, mill 2 cards. You can also pay 1, a black and a green, to exile this creature. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. Nyx Weaver is really nice because if we do mill one of our Spider Lords, like Blex or Ishkanah, we can play out the Nyx Weaver, exile it, and then return one of these to our hand. It's a 6 mana investment to return a creature, but it is nice that we have more options. We can also pull creatures back out of the graveyard using Undead Butler as well. This says when you die, you may exile it. When you do, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. We have a lot of ways to find our lords, even if we mill them unintentionally. So from here, I'm going to Deadly Dispute, sacrifice a Shambling Ghast. Yeah, we're gonna make some treasures, draw 2 cards, find a forest on top. From here, we're gonna go to combat. We'll swing out with both of our creatures, and then whichever one he blocks with Bristly Bill, we're going to Deadly Dispute that target. All right, he double blocks the Broodspinner, which is really nice. And yeah, he uses Bristly Bill to block the Skyfisher Spider, so we are going to Deadly Dispute that. Sacrifice it, draw 2 cards. Oh yeah, and when the spider dies, we can exile it from our graveyard. If we do, we can gain 6 life here. So I am going to take that action. I will gain the 6. That's 1 less creature card in our graveyard. But 6 life is a lot to pass up. From here, do I kill Bristly Bill? I'm just going to end the turn. It's a little bit greedy, more than a little bit greedy. But I don't think he kills us from 27 life. There's a Mossborn Hydra. Nice. Yeah, I'm really glad I waited. We could have killed the Bristly Bill with our Skyfisher Spider. But killing the Mossborn Hydra using our Spider is way more beneficial to us. That's something that could kill us even when we're chilling at 27 life. Yeah, so I'm going to play out the Skyfisher Spider. When it enters, I have made a mistake. When it enters, nothing happens. To destroy a target non-land permanent, we have to sacrifice another creature. I thought we could sacrifice a non-land permanent to destroy a non-land permanent. I messed up very badly there. I'm going to play out a Nyx Weaver and end the turn. Wow, that was really bad. Okay, assuming we don't die here, which we might. In theory, if we block with Skyfisher Spider and it dies, we can then exile our Nyx Weaver next turn to bring the Skyfisher Spider back from the graveyard to then kill the Mossborn Hydra. Now we just die. They got it up to a 40-40. I threw that. All we had to do was play the Nyx Weaver first. Then the Skyfisher Spider, we would have killed the Mossborn Hydra. The only thing they would have been swinging with on this turn is a 6/6. They wouldn't have had the Hydra. We wouldn't have had the Nyx Weaver. But then our follow-up would have been to finally cast a Spider Spawning for its flashback cost. All right, I threw game number 1. I threw it very badly. All right, here we are in game number 2, and we will keep our opening hand. This opponent also starts with a Bristly Bill. How fun for us. I'm going to start with an Undead Butler. When it enters, we mill 3 cards. Our opponent swings their Bristly Bill. I'll say no blocks, I'll take the 3. After that, we're going to play out a Broodspinner. We'll get to Surveil 2. Double Forest. I'll throw 1 in the graveyard, and I will keep the other on top, and then we're going to play out a Shambling Ghast. From here, I will say no attacks. We might try to triple block his Bristly Bill here. Here's another Mossborn Hydra. How very original. It's crazy. It's almost like we just saw this in game number 1. This opponent seems to be mono green, however. So he swings with the Bristly Bill, which is surprising. So we are going to double block using Broodspinner and Shambling Ghast. Bill is going to die. And now we can play Skyfisher Spider. We do have a creature this turn to sacrifice. Sacrifice a Shambling Ghast. I'll make a treasure. And our Skyfisher Spider will kill this Mossborn Hydra. We'll then swing for 1, set our opponent to 20. Next turn, we can cast Spider Spawning and make 5 tokens. That's pretty good. So we're going to do that. Did I say 5 or 4? We made 4 tokens. From here, we can go to combat because our opponent just has a 1/1 Mossborn Hydra. They're not going to block. They take 4, go down to 16. And next turn, we have a Broodmother to follow up our tokens. Our opponent casts Springheart Nantuko onto their Mossborn Hydra, which is very terrifying because they're able to pay 2 mana to create a token that's a copy of their Hydra. How can I clear his board? That is the question. I think I just have to play Ishkanah, and I could try to activate her ability. The best card we could get out of her spellbook would be Prey Upon to try and kill a Mossborn Hydra. However, but then we wouldn't have enough mana to cast it anyway. So we're just going to go to combat. We're going to swing out. Our tokens are now 2/4s. Let's see how he wants to block. He doesn't block. He goes from 16 all the way down to 3. I guess all I can do is play out a Broodspinner. When it enters, we'll get to Surveil 2. This also gives us a little more toughness to use for blocking. Another Spider spawning. That's not what we want to see. Throw both of those cards into the graveyard. And now we hope that we don't die, but we might. Here comes a Bristly Bill. He swings a 3/3 and a 1/1. We will block both. He could have an instant speed way to find more lands. Roiling Regrowth wasn't the one I was thinking of. I was thinking of Harrow, but he gets to find 2 lands. He gets a ton of triggers. Let's see if we die here. We just might. We're at 27 effectively. He's swinging 21 damage. We're not dead. We're down to 6. He has 3 blockers, and that's just game. We have 4 tokens, a Skyfisher Spider, and an Undead Butler. That is good game. Oh god, that was a little bit terrifying, but we managed to redeem ourselves against a landfall elemental shenanigans. Really just against Mossborn Hydra. Yeah, suck it, Hydra. Got me out here talking like Captain America. All right, here we are in game number 3, and our opening hand looks solid. Looks pretty decent. For turn 2, I think I'm just going to play out a Shambling Ghast. Our opponent is going to start with a Bulwark Ox. 2 mana 2/2 Ox Mount. Whenever this creature attacks while saddled, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Sacrifice this creature. Creatures you control with counters on them gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Okay. Here we're going to go to combat. We're going to see if he makes the mistake of blocking. He probably won't. He'll probably just take the 1. He just takes the 1, which is the correct play. And now we're going to mill a bunch. We're going to play Undead Butler. We're going to follow that up with a Stitcher Supplier. And we end the turn. Our opponent played out a Reluctant Role Model. 2 mana 2/2 Human Survivor with Survival. At the beginning of your second main phase, if this creature is tapped, put a flying, lifelink, or +1/+1 counter on it. Whenever this creature or another creature you control dies, if it had counters on it, put those counters on up to 1 target creature. Yo, that is super cool. We are going to double block. We're going to let our Stitcher Supplier and our Undead Butler die here just to get their death triggers. So Undead Butler, when it dies, we may exile it. When we do, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. I will take that action, and I will grab another Stitcher Supplier out of our graveyard. And when Stitcher Supplier dies, we mill 3 more cards. Kind of wish I could have changed the order in which that was sequenced. I would have liked to mill 3 before choosing what to bounce back with the Undead Butler, because we milled an Ishkanah and a Skyfisher Spider. Getting one of those back would have been nice, especially the Skyfisher, but it is what it is. So from here, we can play out our Skyfisher Spider that we did draw into. Oh, I sequenced this wrong. I should have swung in for 1 with our Shambling Ghast. I just missed 1 point of damage. We'll sack our Shambling Ghast. We'll make a token, and we will target their Bulwark Ox. In response, they will probably sacrifice it. Yeah, they do sacrifice it to give their role model hexproof and indestructible to end of turn. And the +1/+1 counter that was on it just got moved to the role model. And I'm just going to end the turn. We have milled a Spider spawning already, so I want to get up to 7 mana as quickly as we can. Our opponent plays out an Innkeeper's Talent, and they level it up. So permanents you control with counters on them have Ward 1. He's going to swing a 5/5 at us, so say no blocks. We go down to 16. From here, we're going to play out a Stitcher Supplier. We'll mill 3 more cards, 3 swamps in a row. And then we're going to play out Blex, and I will say no attacks. We'll hold back our blockers. They play out Seraphic Steed, and they have it fight our Blex using Throw from the Saddle. Target creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Then deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. They swing in with their 7/7. I'll block using Stitcher Supplier. That will allow us to mill 3 more cards. None of them were creatures. Wow, that is super unlucky. We mill double Deadly Dispute in a forest. That sucks. That sucks a lot. But we do top deck into a Spider spawning. So I'm just going to cast this one from our hand for 5 mana. We'll create 8 tokens. And I will say no attacks. Man, I really am upset that they had a fight spell for our Blex. They're going to play out an Ornery Tumblewag. It's another saddle creature. If they try to swing their Reluctant Role Model here, I will block using everything. We have 11 damage. He's swinging a 9/9. He takes back the Declare. And he does not swing. That Role Model is, in fact, very reluctant. Just you wait, opponent. Just you wait until I get one of my Spider Lords back. Top deck a Swamp. That is nice. That means we get to hold on to our treasure token. Now we're going to cast another Spider Spawning. from our graveyard with flashback will make 8 more 1/2 tokens. I'll say no attacks. You guys, can you guess what I'm gonna do next turn? Our opponent is going to saddle up their Tumblewag using their Seraphic Steed. They're gonna level up their Innkeeper's Talent to the final level. If you put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, put twice that many instead. They're gonna play Sheltered by Ghost. That will let them exile something like our Skyfisher Spider. And their Reluctant Role Model now has lifelink as well. They go to combat, they get to put 2 counters on their role model. And Ornery Tumblewag says, whenever this creature attacks while saddled, double the number of +1/+1 counters on target creature. So they were able to just make this a 36-35, but it does not have trample. So we'll use 1 blocker here, and then we'll use 2 creatures to block the Ornery Tumblewag, so that will die. Our opponent's about to gain 36 life. It's not an amazing position for us. Definitely been in better positions. We top deck a Swamp, which kind of sucks. And so all we're going to do is flashback Spider spawning again. I will go to combat. I will swing 14 spiders. Set our opponent down to 45. We need to find another Skyfisher Spider, like now. That or Nyx Weaver would be a good top deck, because Nyx Weaver would allow us to grab a Skyfisher Spider out of our graveyard. All right, our opponent swings, they go up to 85. We block with 1 of our tokens. Oh my God, ask and you shall receive. We find the Nyx Weaver. We're gonna play this out. We're going to exile it. We're going to return Skyfisher Spider from our graveyard to our hand. And we don't have enough mana to cast it this turn, which really sucks. We're 1 mana short. But next turn we can kill the role model. But man, he's gonna gain another 40 life. I don't think we're gonna win this match, but this has been fun. Opponent goes to combat. We chump with the token. They gain 42 more life. They're up to 127. Play out a land. We top deck another land that is really a bummer. They have 1 card in hand. We have to hope it's not a protection spell. We're gonna play our Skyfisher Spider. We're gonna sack 1 of our tokens. We will target the Reluctant Role Model. Yep. I don't even know how much its ward cost is, but we will pay whatever it is. 2. And another 1. Oh yeah, the role model, when it dies, is going to transfer all of its counters onto the Seraphic Steed, but it's going to be twice as many. But it's fine. This was all part of the plan. It was all calculated, because underneath his role model was another Skyfisher Spider. So this one just came back from exile to our board. Once it enters, we can sack another creature. So we're going to sacrifice a token. We're going to destroy their Seraphic Steed. Yes, I'm sure. We're going to pay the ward 1. That dies. They now have no creatures on board. They're at 127 life. We have 18 Spider tokens to swing with. Swing it for 18. Set our opponent down to 109. I need them to top deck nothing but land. I think we've top decked land for like the last 3 turns. Give him land. Our opponent's thinking long and hard about their next play. There goes the timer. Have we done it? Are we about to beat an opponent that has 5 times our life total? Oh my God, why was he roping me? He sat through 2 of his timers here just to play out a creature. He did have a creature. He played out a Miriam Herd Whisperer. Mana 3/2 during your turn. Mounts and vehicles you control have hexproof. Whenever a mount or vehicle you control attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. All right, we top deck a Spider spawning. That's a pretty good top deck here. We'll make 7 more tokens. And from here, we will swing in with 18 1/2 tokens and 2 3/3 Skyfisher Spiders. We deal some damage, set our opponent to 88. When our Skyfisher Spider dies, I will choose to exile it so we can gain 8 life, put us up to 28, and we end the turn. Our opponent plays out Excalibur 2. Whenever you gain life, put a charge counter on this. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each charge counter on Excalibur. All right, we top deck a Stitcher Supplier. We will play that out. We're gonna mill 3 more cards. And now we're gonna cast Spider Spawning for its flashback cost. And this time we will get 9 tokens. We'll swing in with our 25 tokens and our 3/3. They will block the 3/3. We will connect for 25. We set our opponent down to 63. When Skyfisher Spider dies, I will exile it again to gain 10 life. We're up to 38. We have very much bridged the gap. Our opponent now only has about twice as much life as us. Not even. More like 1.5. A lot better than 5 times the amount of life we had. They're going to cast a Sheltered by Ghost. They will exile our Stitcher Supplier. Their creature does now have lifelink, and that is concerning. From here, we top deck a Broodspinner. When this enters, we will be able to surveil 2, so let's start by doing that. See if we can't find more removal. 2 lands, definitely going to throw both of those in the graveyard. The question is, do I swing in with 34? Whenever they gain life, this gets a counter, right? If I swing in, they'll get to gain 10 life, but we'll connect for 33. Yeah, so we swing out with our 34 Spider tokens. Our opponent's at 63. They end up at 40 life, but they do get some more counters on their Miriam, which is now a 12/10. Dude, all I need is a Spider Lord, but we only have one of each left in our deck. Our opponent plays Rosa, Resolute White Mage, 4 mana, 2/3 reach. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It gains lifelink until end of turn. They swing their Miriam for 16 lifelink damage, and they cast a Journey to Nowhere, which exiled our Broodspinner. We top deck the best card that we could have found, Skyfisher Spider. So, oh my god, I was about to say, so all of the counters are going to be transferred to Rosa when this thing dies, but that was an effect of the Reluctant role model, and that guy is dead. This is amazing. It was such a good top deck. Skyfisher Spider, when it enters, we sack one of our 33 tokens. We then get to kill Miriam. Yup, got Ward 2 that we pay, another Ward 1 that we pay. That dies. We get Stitcher Supplier back. We mill 3 more cards. Nice. There's 3 top decks that we did not want to see. An Undead Butler. Well, I kind of wanted the Undead Butler, but it was that, a Stitcher Supplier, and a Forest. And now we can swing in with our 32 tokens. They will block 1. They'll take 31 damage here. Imagine if we just had one singular Spider Lord on the field. That could have been lethal damage right there. Our opponent equips their Excalibur to their Rosa. This might be game though. If they don't have a way to gain like 5 or 10 life, this is game. We're swinging with 31 more tokens next turn. They're down to 25 life. They have 1 card in hand. It's a Journey to Nowhere. That is good game, ladies and gentlemen. That removal is not going to do anything. We have too many bodies. This is crazy. That's a good game, people. That's crazy. And this guy's deck was cool. I've messed around with saddle decks before. They weren't amazing on a budget because a lot of the cool saddles, a lot of the good saddle creatures, they are rares, like the Ornery Tumblewag and the Seraphic Steed. But throwing in the Reluctant role model, dude, that synergy is actually really, really nice. Wait a minute, our opponent does have a way to gain life. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, gains lifelink until end of turn. They're able to give their thing lifelink. They're going to swing in for 10. I will chump with the Stitcher Supplier. They'll go up to 35. We're 4 damage short. That's upsetting. Oh my god. And the thing we milled was Skyfisher Spider. That sucks. And we top deck a land. That's crazy. All right, we swing in for 31 damage. Our opponent was at 35. We set them down to 4. They go to combat again and swing in, gaining like 12-ish more life. Then it should finally be game over. My goodness. All right, our opponent plays another Sheltered by Ghosts. They get rid of 1 more of our tokens. Their creature is a 13/13. They can swing in here. And combat becomes a 17/17. They go up to 21 life. On the attack, we have 30 tokens. We're not dead on board. We have 23 life. Dude, that life gain from the Skyfisher Spider. Very, very relevant. I mean, the biggest difference is that I just would have held back one of our tokens on all of these attacks as a blocker, probably. But this is finally actually good game. They have no cards in hand. I know what their cards do that they have out on the board. We have enough tokens. Finally, we get there. Unfortunately, our opponent is now going to rope us out in hopes that, I don't know, that I DC so we can try to squeeze out this win, which is too bad because this was a really great match. We had our opponent at over 100 life, and we managed to battle our way back using our spider spawning tokens. Just a whole lot of little 1/2s with reach. Top deck a Nyx Weaver. I'm going to play it out. I'm going to exile it. That's going to allow me to return Blex to my hand. I'm going to play it out, make all of our 1/2s into 2/3s, and swing in for 60 total damage. And that's finally game over. Man, that was a long one. Yo, is my Untapped correct? Untapped is saying that this was a 25-minute match. 25 minutes? My recording is about an hour long already. And this is only game number 3? Holy crap. That's crazy. Dude, I thought it'd been like 15 minutes tops. Well, I think that's going to be our final game for this video. Yeah, that was one hell of a match. I don't think anything I could do from here is going to top it. But man, look at what can be accomplished in a match when neither players are running board wipes. I don't normally like super long matches because they normally feel really grindy, like against control decks. But this one was fun. Both players were still doing things. Yeah, we both had a couple turns where we were just top decking lands. But even on the turns where we top deck land, we're still able to cast our spider spawnings out of the graveyard. Even on the turns where our opponent was top decking lands, he still had like a massive like 40/40 creature with lifelink to swing. That was just an amazing match. All right, well, here we are on my Untapped account. If you take a look, you can see that I'm 5-3 with this deck. which is a 63% win rate, 100% on the play, 25% on the draw, means that apparently this deck really likes to go first. So what are my thoughts on the deck? Should you craft a spider deck? Honestly, I'm going to say yes. I think this deck is pretty cool. And the only real changes that I would make to it, I think I would upgrade the deck a little bit by adding a third copy of Blex. And to add this third copy, I would maybe cut down on 1 Deadly Dispute just to keep our creature count as high as possible. And then of course you can always, upgrade your mana base. But I think that's it. I think other than that, I would leave the deck pretty much the way it is. Yeah, like these spiders, they're able to do a lot more than you would think. And hell, we didn't even see everything that the deck can do because we didn't even use the draft ability from Ishkanah. If we had top decked it near the end of that last match, it would have been amazing. We would have been able to get a ton of value from it because we had a bunch of non-creature cards in the graveyard that we'd be fine with exiling, and we had plenty of mana to pour into Ishkanah's ability. So this could have given us a ton of value. Yeah, I think it's a really cool card. So I'm going to vote yes. I think you should try making a spider deck, specifically a spider spawning deck, because it's like good. But yeah, that is going to wrap up the video. So if you liked the video, you should like the video. If you liked me, the video, and you like Magic the Gathering, you should consider subscribing to the channel because that will get you more of all three. And thank you guys again for joining me on day 29 of our 30 Days of Night. I hope to see you tomorrow.